What is going on, everybody? Thammagotcha here, and welcome into another video. We're hopping back into the Master League Premier Cup, and we hit Legend. Let's go, using the Dirge and Primarina with Gyarados. My gosh, was this team ever so strong, and it performed very well, gaining me all the way to Legend rank. So let's hop into these battles here and check out the team. An amazing lead here in Magnezone into Skeledirge. They're gonna hop into a Gyarados, and now I just hop into my Primarina and we can charm all the way down. I can no shield any move. All moves are going to be resisted due to Primarina's typing of that Water Fairy, Crunch, Aqua Tail, even Outrage, all resisted, and it is going to be an amazing farm down for this Primarina. We can even live this Aqua Tail, get the full farm down, and almost have a Hydro Pump locked and loaded for that Magnezone when it wants to come back in. Now we are one charm off, and unfortunately we're not going to be able to get there since that Full Switch is going to come in and take us out, and I do not want to risk it for the biscuit and not get any damage off. They decide to come into their own Skeledirge. I'm going to go straight for the Shadow Ball here, and if they no shield this, it's going to be a left right good night, but they decide to shield that. Anyways, I can just come in with my Gyarados here, and it's going to be able to lock down this matchup. Shadow Ball not even going to be enough to one hit KO. I can go for the Aqua Tail here, undercharge it just slightly so we don't fully knock them out, and I don't really want to knock out my opponent here. I want to let them throw energy so I can come in with my own Skeledirge, get a nice little farm down. But they decide to hop into their Magnezone, and from here I can just shield this up, farm all the way down, and we're gonna have, well, loaded energy, but we don't really need it. We can just farm down their own Skeledirge since they are one off the next Shadow Ball, and that's going to be a good game. Well played to my opponent. A little bit of mistake on their end. They should have went for the Disarming Voice against the Gyarados, and that would have made that game a whole hell of a lot closer. So hopping into the next matchup there, Skeledirge into Skeledirge. You'll love to see it. People using the Dirge, and they hop into a Primarina. So I'm just going to stay into this matchup here. Going to throw the Shadow Ball. I don't necessarily have to swap out, considering I do have a Gyarados for their own Skeledirge, and I'm just going to shield this up. I know it's a Disarming Voice, but I want to keep some health here on my Skeledirge. It wouldn't have done a whole lot of damage, but those charms are going to start adding up. Shadow Ball almost knocks out the Primarina. We get the full Incinerate farm down, and we are 2 Incinerates ahead of the Skeledirge. Gonna throw the Shadow Ball. Shadow Ball gonna go for massive damage. Look at the damage, and we weren't even able to swap out, unfortunately. We must have legged out a whole turn, so we missed out on the Incinerate damage too, which is quite irritating, but it is what it is. We're gonna catch the Disarming Voice here on our Gyarados, and they have a Gyarados of their own in the back. You'll love to see it, which means Primarina is going to be locked up against that Gyarados. That Skeledirge is very, very low health, no energy whatsoever, and we get the D-drop. We can just come out with the Primarina, charm this Gyarados all the way down, and the opponent knows that the match is over, and that's going to be a good game. Well played to my opponent there. Hopping into the next matchup here, Skeledirge versus Skeledirge. They are really coming out full force here. I'm just going to stay into this matchup here. Go for the extra Incinerate damage. I'm going to shield this just in case it's a Shadow Ball, which it is, and we're going to go to 100 energy, and then they decide to swap out into a Gyarados. This is quite fine by me. I'm just going to throw a couple more Incinerates, swap into my own Gyarados here. I don't want to swap into the Primarina because our charms are going to be resisted by that Skeledirge. And at the health disadvantage that this Gyarados is at, we should just be able to take out this matchup here. If they want to shield it, it's quite fine by me. I'll throw a shield up myself. But now they decide to come into a Florges. Now this gets a little bit dicey because my Skeledirge is really the only thing now that can handle their own Skeledirge, and Primarina doesn't do that great against this Florges. So I'm gonna bring in the Primarina, get a little bit of charm damage off, wait for them to throw energy, and then I'm going to hard pivot into my Skeledirge. Now we are at 100 energy. I'm going to go for the Disarming Voice. Don't need to go for the Shadow Ball, as Shadow Ball would just kind of be a waste of energy, and they decide to bring in their own Skeledirge. All I have to do is shield this move up, but I'm going to call that it's the bait. Disarming Voice gets shielded. You love to see it. Going for the Shadow Ball. Left, right, good night, and we are almost at our own Disarming Voice. Again, going to call this. Nope, I shield that one up, unfortunately. But we do get the Disarming Voice, and from here I should just be able to swap into my Primarina, get a couple charms off. They have to throw energy here, and all I have to do is just throw one Incinerate, and one Incinerate should knock out this Florges, and that's going to be a good game. Well played to my opponent there. Ooh, didn't call that disarming voice call bait was the key to winning. Florges on the lead, they hop into a Haxorus. I'm gonna hop into my Gyarados here. I can no shield the breaking swipe. It's not gonna do a whole lot of damage, but we're hoping we don't get the attack fall, and we don't. That is absolutely massive. I can actually no shield this move as well. Because they have counter as their fast move, it's gonna be resisted, and our Dragon Vests are going to really start adding up. And if they want to no shield this, we can take switch no problem, leaving little farm for that Florges when it wants to come back in. But they decide to hop into a Skeleturge. This is going to get really scary because now the Skeleturge is absolutely loaded on energy. So what I'm going to do, come in with my Primarina, make them expend energy, and since their defenses are lowered, these charms will start adding up. And now I come into my own Skeleturge here. I'm just gonna farm up as much energy as I can, doing 4 more or 1 away from the max energy, and they actually shield the Shadow Ball, which is quite fine by me. Gonna no shield the Moonblast here, and now I want to farm up to about 100 energy before I throw. I can no shield this move as well. Maybe I should have shielded it up considering it was the Moonblast. Now I'm forced to shield a Draining Kiss if I have to, or Disarming Voice, sorry. So they actually end up shielding that, which is quite fine by me. Now I'm just gonna farm up to a little bit more energy, but they decide to hop into the Skeleturge, and we have the Shadow Ball locked and loaded, not throwing the Disarming Voice, and 1 more Incinerate should get us to that Shadow Ball, and this is gonna knock out the Florges left, right. Good night, and that's gonna be another good game, well played. Skeleturge really putting the teams on its back here. So hopping into the next matchup here, Excadrill into Skeleturge. They hop into a Gyarados. I can just hop right into my Primarina here and charm all the way down. The good thing about having Hydro Pump is that you're going to be able to hit this Excadrill for massive, super effective damage. Now the thing is, my Primarina is not fully maxed out. I didn't really have the full XL candies, but you can see there, it still defeats the Gyarados without even putting up a shield or throwing any energy. So even if you don't really have a fully maxed out, I had about 216 XL candies. So I decided to hard pivot into my Skeleturge, which draws out the Gyarados. Or not Gyarados, the Dragonite, which is quite fine by me because now I have my Gyarados aligned to this Excadrill, and I don't really have to expend a crazy amount of shields. And they decided to double shield, which is amazing for me because now I can just come into my own Gyarados, get the full farm down, and have so much loaded energy coming out of this matchup. I can throw up a shield, but I'm not going to. Rock Slide is going to be the harder hitting move of the game. So we're almost at another Aqua Tail here. Aqua Tail gonna be doing a lot of damage. Not enough to one-shot this Excadrill, but enough to put it into a range where 1 more Aqua Tail is gonna knock out, and 2 shields up. We're gonna take this game cleanly. So Rock Slide coming in, get the shield. 1 more Rock Slide coming through, another shield up for us, and we should just be able to get to this Aqua Tail, no problem. And this is gonna be a good game. Well played to my opponent. Aqua Tail coming in. See you later, Excadrill, and that's gonna be a beautiful 5-0. 5-0 set there to start this video. That's gonna take us up to, I think, 29.95. yeah 29.95 from where I started at. So amazing. Primarina lead. Oh, and it's a waterfall Primarina. That is absolutely horrible. And it's a Magnezone swap in. We are 5 points away from legend, and this is how we start the set. Super unfortunate. Mirror shot, not enough to KO, but they decide to dump all their energy, which is quite fine by me. I can just come in with the Skeleturge, get the full farm down here. I'm thinking about no shielding this, but you know what? I wanted to keep some health on my Skeleturge just so I can survive a couple waterfalls, and we'll see what happens. They come back in with the Primarina. I'm gonna bait here with the Disarming Voice, hoping to get a shield, and then I'm gonna hard swap into my Gyarados. I can survive the waterfalls a lot better. Gonna no shield that Disarming Voice, and then they decide to come with a Snorlax, and I know this game is over. Snorlax is going to be able to take this matchup pretty cleanly. The only thing I can think is us getting the full farm down with the Skeleturge and having almost 2 Shadow Balls locked and loaded, but at the time they are going to delay the switch clock timer a whole lot. That is not enough to KO us, so they can honestly just hard swap if they want to right now after throwing a move, forcing me to shield, and yeah, this game is over. I'm 3 Incinerates away from my next Shadow Ball, and if they decide to no shield this, then the game is just over. But they do shield it, giving me hope, but not a lot of hope, and that's going to be a good game. Well played to my opponent. So hopping into the next matchup, Skeleturge versus Skeleturge. We're going to stay in this matchup, throw a couple more Incinerates, and we catch the move on the Primarina. Is it the Aqua Tail? It's the Crunch. You love to see it. And from here, we're just gonna farm all the way down, throwing no energy whatsoever, building up to this Hydro Pump. And yeah, this matchup is just so dominated by Primarina, it's insane. Another Aqua Tail gonna be coming in, not enough to KO us. We're just gonna throw one more charm just so we have the energy, but they decide to hop into a Dragonite. Oh my gosh, trying to catch the Hydro Pump, but all the catch is these hands, and the opponent decides the top left, and that's going to be a good game. Well played to my opponent. Hopping into the next matchup, Goodra lead. Oh, this is absolutely horrible. Gonna stay in just a little bit, hoping to catch a move, but unfortunately my opponent was very smart, holding onto their energy, and it's a Vigavolt back there. Whoa, look at the spice. Oh my goodness. From here, maybe I should have shielded the move, but I didn't. I would have got Volt Switch down anyways, so I should have went for 2 Aqua Tails, to be honest with you, but it is what it is. The Switch Clock timer is not out, so I am forced to throw this Disarming Voice. I'm really thinking, and I just know. I really know there is a Magnezone back there, and there is a Magnezone, unfortunately. And with 2 shields in play, all they have to do is save shields for the Goodra, and they're going to take this game very cleanly. Mirror Shot, yeah, they know not to double debuff themselves. Very smart by my opponent. I'm going to be forced to shield the Wild Charge too, as that would do a boatload of damage, which would leave the Aqua Tail to do a boatload of damage as well. So Wild Charge is going to be coming in, and this game is over. They can Aqua Tail us from here, and all I can really do is hopefully the Incinerates are going to be enough damage, but Dragon Breath are going to win this matchup, and that's going to be a good game. Well played to my opponent. So 2 losses, 1 win. We need the next 3 wins to take the set. So next 2 wins, sorry, yeah. So going for the Crunch there on the Magnezone swap in. Crunch is going to be no shielded, which is absolutely amazing. We actually get to this Aqua Tail, which is beautiful. Throw in proper timing and a little bit of an energy head start. It's not enough to knock out, which is so unfortunate, but we can come in, get a little bit of an energy advantage coming into this matchup with the Skeledirge after waiting out my Switch Clock timer, which we do. And hopefully we get to this Disarming Voice. This Disarming Voice should get a shield from the Haxorus, considering Haxorus is very glassy. And now I just come in with my Primarina, do a couple of charms, and oh my gosh, it's a Florges back there. I need to make it to this Disarming Voice. I'm gonna no shield, calling it it's their Disarming Voice, but they full send the Moonblast. I'm gonna do another charm. I'm gonna undercharge this Disarming Voice. I want farm on my Skeledirge here, so I have some energy coming out of this matchup here, and we get the perfect farm down. This is just another Disarming Voice. I don't need to worry about the Moonblast or Disarming Voice. I have to worry about Night Slash here. I will shield the first one. I had an inkling that it's going to be the Earthquake, and what a shield that was. And we are at the back-to-back Disarming Voices. First Disarming Voice is going to knock out the Haxorus, so that's going to be a good game. Well played. 1 win away from the legend rank. I think we all know what happens here, but Florges on the lead. You love to see it. They're going to hop into a Snorlax. I'm going to stay in, throw the Disarming Voice, and then I'm going to hop into my Gyarados here. Gyarados is definitely better suited to handle the Snorlax than the Primarina is, considering Charm takes so long to get to moves, and Snorlax is an absolute beast. From here, I can just go straight Aqua Tail. I can no shield this move, Body Slam, not going to be enough to KO, but I decide to shield it just in case they did have Outrage, and Outrage would have absolutely destroyed us. So I know now they're just going to go straight for the Body Slams. I know I do live this one, so I'm just going to farm all the way down. Have loaded energy coming out of this matchup, and they decide to bring back in the Florges. I do 1 Dragon Breath, then the move Aqua Tail going to be coming in. Not going to do enough to KO, but hopefully I can make it to 1 more, and we do. This is perfect. Going to put them right into the yellow health. Enough where a couple Incinerates and a Disarming Voice is going to knock out, or just a couple of charms actually. And in the back is my champ, bringing out the Primarina, opponent top lefts, and that is going to be the legend rank. Let's go, everybody. You love to see it. 3-2 to get the legend. 3005. There's the legend pose, all the legend stuff that comes with it. You love to see it. So if y'all are liking the content, please hit that like button. Comment if you haven't, or comment if you want to see anything in the future. And if you haven't already, hit that subscribe button, because it really helps out the channel and it is greatly appreciated. And we will see everybody in the next video. Bye bye.